We're joined live by Tim Gray, Executive Director of Environmental Defense. Tim, thanks for joining us. Let's start off with this, just the scope of this project.
It's massive. It's about 59 kilometers to go from Milton over to the 400, kind of wrapping around the west side of Brampton and across the north. It goes through thousands of acres of farmland, through the green belt, through important conservation areas, and threatens about 29 federally listed endangered species. So the impacts are huge, and of course, it's an unnecessary highway.
Why do you think so?
Because an expert panel reviewed this, the previous government appointed experts in transportation. They concluded that commuters only save 30 seconds across the region if this highway was built, and that we have better alternatives. If you actually look at the route, going from the 400 to Milton, it's not a place where a lot of commuters are traveling. This really is about opening up vast areas that are owned by developers who are very close to the Ford government to perpetuate a sprawl model, which means more gridlock, more people spending time in their cars, less focus on building the transportation we need, which is regional rail, buses, et cetera, to get people out of their cars. We also know we could use the 407, which is about 15 kilometers to the south, and we could have trucks there and solve some of the transportation problems we have now if the tolls were not so high. So there's solutions out there. They've been identified. This highway is for developers. It's not for the people of Ontario.
And Tim, what can you tell us about the species of birds and other animals in the area?
Yeah, there's a number of species here that are really critically endangered. Probably the one that folks may have heard is the red-side dace. It only exists in a few rivers in southern Ontario. This highway would probably lead to its extirpation or elimination of that fish species from southern Ontario. We also have the western chorus frog, the red-headed woodpecker, and many others. If you actually go through the Nashville Conservation Reserve, like I have and many biologists have, you'll see firsthand a lot of the wildlife that would be eliminated by this highway. And in fact, the consultants for the government told them not to route it, not to put it there, that there was actually better routes, and they've chosen it to put it in the most high impact areas, again, at the request of developers who are very close to this government.
Tim, last year, a group of 100 scientists wrote a letter to the federal government highlighting exactly what you said. But now that this highway is going to go ahead, what message would you have to the provincial government in order to protect this land or do its best to save those animals?
Yeah, I think the Premier's announcement that the highway's going ahead today is a bit of wishful thinking. You'll note that he talked about highway resurfacing and doing some other stuff in an interchange. There are no permits in place from the federal government to have this highway go ahead. And I still hope that it's still possible to make sure that it never goes ahead overall. And at the very least, it needs to be massively reconfigured to avoid sensitive areas. So we're a long ways from having this highway built, which is very fortunate for the people of Ontario.
Tim Gray, Executive Director of Environmental Defense. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.